I mean, it's kind of clear that a lot of managers have at least one burnout during their career. And at first I thought, does this make sense? Because, if there's like a project and there's like a deadline, then the manager comes like to the engineer, to the software engineer, and says, okay, look, I need you to deliver this until that particular date. So after all, it is you who is spending like all day and even like the night or the weekend trying to get something done and trying to get something shipped for a specific deadline, right? So how come the manager burns out? Because after all, it's you who is actually, building the product and trying to make it work. Well, the explanation is actually quite simple. So just put yourself into the shoes of the manager. So a manager is typically faced with a lot of expectations, right? Because he or she gets like business goals from like the managing directors, from the CEO, and they have to actually make sure that the business goal is implemented. And typically they also get a deadline. And that is the actual problem, because the deadline is oftentimes very unrealistic and very short term. And the manager still has to make it work somehow. But as a manager, you are hands off, right? So you're actually not building the product, you're managing people. So you need your team to actually deliver that specific product. And oftentimes, maybe your team is not motivated, maybe people are sick, maybe people have like private problems. So the manager has a constant feeling of not being in control. So if it's you who's kind of like building this thing out, then you kind of know, okay, I roughly know what to do. I can roughly tell whether I will make it or not, and I can roughly tell how much time it will take me. But the manager doesn't know that. So the manager has to completely rely on the team to get the job done. And this is this feeling of uncertainty, the feeling of not being able to control. Like it feels as if something is out of your hands. Like that is what can drive you actually crazy, because you know that there's this high expectation, and every time you communicate something, so every time you agree to deliver something until a certain deadline, your reputation as a manager is on the line. So if you do not deliver by this specific date with this specific quality, it's going to fall back on you. And also your quote unquote failure has like a very high visibility, right? Because you're sitting a lot in, like you spend a lot of time in meetings, and it's clear, if things cannot be delivered, then it's going to be you who will be blamed. And that can lead to a lot of pressure, like the feeling of being pressured, right? Deadline, you have to completely rely on other people to do it, and seemingly no one seems to care about your problems, right? Because also bear in mind, in the team, like everyone is constantly complaining about something. Okay, this doesn't work, and this doesn't work. But no one is listening to the complaints of the manager, right? The manager just has to say, yeah, we're going to fix it. But the manager like has his own problems, and typically no one is listening to that, right? And it's basically this high pressure situation, being in between the managing director and in between like the team who's actually carrying out the work, that can really wear you out, because things are on the line and you just don't know whether you're going to make it in time or not. And these situations require certain mental attitude, like a mental strength. And sometimes like your mental strength is just not sufficient to deal with these kind of things. And then you might have the feeling, oh, why am I actually doing this? This is like unrealistic anyway. We could have done it in a different way. Why did we promise that? There would have been a better alternative, and these kind of things. And when these thoughts pop up in your head, and paired with stress, paired with like maybe the inability to fall asleep and these kind of things, then things can get really tough. And yeah, that's the story on how managers burn out. So of course, every story is like different, everyone has a different story. So I just think we need to better understand in what situations managers are in, and then thinking about how we can support them. I also made a video about that, like how to form a coalition with your manager. It kind of goes into a similar direction. Yeah, so that's my take on why managers burn out. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Also, you can reach out to me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @productioncoder. So thank you so much for watching. Leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.